Yes.
Whoop. All right, everyone. Welcome to day 6 of the Email Marketing Specialist Bootcamp. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. We are really excited because today we're talking about Journey Builder with JB, whose name really literally stands for Journey Builder. And this is the Email Specialist Bootcamp. JB will be speaking on Journey Builder concepts, but let's also give a huge thank you to all of you for just really prioritizing your education, prioritizing learning, as well as giving a big thank you to all of our speakers who have volunteered to help support your learning, and Gilda, who has Gilda with Salesforce, who has also helped to support, and JB, who has done so much hard work to help get this bootcamp off the ground. Today, we will be hearing from JB. She will be speaking on Journey Builder concepts. And next week, on both Tuesday and Thursday, we will be hearing from Coyote. He will be speaking on subscriber data management. So you guys, we have some really good sessions coming up, and I cannot wait. Just a reminder of what's coming up after. We have JB speaking today. Coyote will be speaking on the 18th and the 20th. And then we have Chris Zulu speaking the following week on insights and analytics. So I cannot wait. It's going to be a great session. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to JB.
Thanks, Naji. I'm going to take your screen share and switch it to mine. Okay. I hope it's all good.
Looking good.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining the bootcamp, and we really appreciate you. As Nazi mentioned, there are many people behind the scenes who have helped and supported this bootcamp. Thanks, everyone. And also to you for showing the continued passion and to upskill and to learn the advanced features in the Marketing Cloud, and also to get certified. And you have been hearing me all through these days. And a little bit about me, if you don't know me, if it's your first time, I'm a marketing champion and 17-time certified application architect, and the founder and the co-leader of the Salesforce Marketers Group Phoenix, and also the founder of Impact Force and the Marketing Cloud Learning Camp. And here are my social handles. I'm more active on LinkedIn than on Twitter. And here's the YouTube channel that was put together to upload all the content that we have been creating all through these days over the past 2 years or 3 years. So you can find all the previous bootcamp recordings or any other sessions that happened in this YouTube channel. And here's my Trailblazer profile. So enough of me, let's get into the main topic. So today we're going to look at the Journey Builder. So in the Journey Builder, what are the different features that are available, the types of journeys, and the different templates that we can get started with, and the configuration of the Journey Builder. And after we create the journey, how do we validate and make sure that it has all the elements that it needs, and the difference between the journey data and the contact data. And we'll also have some demos in between to help you get the feel of how the Journey Builder dashboard looks like, and the canvas looks like. And even if you don't have access to the Marketing Cloud account, so the demo will be detailed, so you will get a feel of how the interface looks like and how you can configure the elements in the Journey Builder. So looking at the exam weightage of the Journey Builder, we do have 26% of weightage for the marketing automation. So this includes both the Automation Studio and the Journey Builder as well. In the last session with Vicky, we have seen what an Automation Studio is and what are the building blocks in the Automation Studio, and also how do we create an automation and other elements that are included in the Automation Studio. And in today's session, we're going to look at what a Journey Builder is, when do we use it, and also what are the building blocks in the Journey Builder and the different configuration elements in the Journey Builder, and some use cases. And also it is important to understand, when given a use case, when do we use an Automation Studio or when do we use a Journey Builder? So it is also important to understand which one to use in which scenario. What is a customer journey? throughout this session, and if you are learning about the Marketing Cloud, you would hear about this term journey, creating a journey for a customer, a personalized journey. So you would hear about this word very often. A journey in a Marketing Cloud is the path that the potential customer or an existing customer takes to become someone who is more engaged and also committed and become legal to the company's brand. To be specific, a customer journey is defined as all interactions that a customer takes or customer has with the company's brands or products or services across all the touch points and the channels. So when we're talking about the touch points can be multiple. It can include the offline, online. Talking about the examples of the touch points, it could be clicking an ad, or reading an email, opening and clicking some button in the email, or going to the website and making a purchase, or returning an item which they already purchased in the store, or if they have an issue, they talk to the service agent, downloading an article or reading something. So there are many ways that a customer interacts with the business every day, and they engage with the company's brand in different ways, in different channels. It could be using the email or the SMS, or directly on the website, they go and create a ticket or create a case. And then maybe on the website, we have a landing page, and they click the form and submit some details there. Or some people may directly contact the support. They directly call and talk to the support person. So there are multiple ways a customer interacts with the company's brand, and multiple steps the customer takes. So the journey builder is intended to personalize these customers' interactions. So they don't feel that they're talking to a machine, and they can get some relevant and contextual content depending on what stage they are in and what is the next best recommendation for them, or trying to cross-sell or upsell to them. So there are many actions that we can take, so we can make the customers feel that they are more interacting with a human, and the interaction is more personalized. And before we get started, let's look at the key terms. We often use the terms about the contact data, behavioral data, and the engagement data in the Marketing Cloud. So not just specific to the Journey Builder, in the Marketing Cloud, we often use these terms. So we need to understand what is the difference between these terms. The contact data is more of a data that is related to the contact. The first name, last name, region, the location where they are in the address, and the membership status, and many other details that are related to the contact data. And behavioral data is something about the customer's interest. So depending on the region, or depending on their upcoming trip or something, they may be interested to buy a particular product, and they may have some affinities to some particular product range. So all this comes as behavioral data. And engagement data is about how the customer is engaging with a particular brand. When we send the emails, how is their engagement? Are they opening the emails, clicking, bounces, and all this is considered as the engagement data. And as we see, Journey Builder is the Marketing Cloud's premier campaign planning and execution tool. And it enables to design and automate campaigns that guide customers through a series of interactions. And it is multi-channel, so we can communicate with the customers across email, SMS, push notifications, landing pages. And we can also create some apps, mobile apps, so we can send some direct notifications to the customers on their app. And the Journey Builder is responsive depending on the actions that a customer takes within the journey. The journey can be customized. So if they take a specific action, they can be routed through one path. If they do not take a specific action, they can be routed to another path. So it is responsive, and it's goal-driven. Whenever we are creating a journey, or whenever we are starting to think about creating a journey, it's important to think about the goal, what we want to achieve by using this journey, maybe to promote or to re-engage the customers, or to cross-sell a product, upsell a product. So we begin with a goal in mind. So Journey Builder has the goal specific journeys that we can create, where we can set the goal, and depending on the goal attainment, we can customize the journeys. And Journey Builder is very easy. It has an easy interface that by using the drag and drop feature, we can just create the journeys, and we don't need any technical knowledge like a development knowledge to create the journeys. So all the activities and all the steps that are involved in the journey, they can be created using the Journey Builder interface. And here are some of the Journey Builder use cases. Journeys can be created across all the stages of a customer lifecycle. So it could be through the awareness and acquisition stages, to the onboarding and engagement and retention and advocacy stages. And during the acquisition stage, a journey can be created to grow the subscriber list or the customer base. And during the onboarding phase, we can send some emails to the customers to welcome them or give them some information about the product and upsell a different product. And during the engagement journeys, we can build a stronger relationship with the customer. And if they are not engaged, re-engage them and provide them some promotions or provide them some information and maintain some regular communications with them. And the retention journeys, they are intended to engage some potential unsubscribers who have been inactive. And also it is used to encourage the customers who abandon a cart to purchase. And here are the different types of journeys. Journey Builder makes it easy for us to get started. So it has a pre-built journeys, which includes different steps. So we can get started by choosing one of these type of journeys. So looking at these 3 different types of journeys, one is the multi-step journey. Multi-step journey includes multiple channels, and it includes different steps in the journey. It could be the email, SMS, and push notifications, and we can drag and drop all the activities, and we can use the advertising studio, create campaign activity in there. We are going to look at all the different activities available in next few slides. So multi-step journey includes multiple paths, multiple activities, and so on. A single send journey is we just need to create a very simple journey which includes a single email or a single SMS. Then we can use this journey. But between these two, multi-step journey is the often used journey because it has the flexibility to create more steps and also to expand it. A transactional send journey, we can get started with this type of journey when we want to start the journey, initiate the journey based on an event, external event that happens. So whenever the event happens and we want that journey to trigger, then we go ahead and start with this journey. And Journey Builder has some predefined templates which are already available. So to make the life easy, so we can, there are multiple templates that are available, and I would recommend starting with these templates. If somebody is trying to learn Journey Builder, get started with these templates and then look at the steps that are involved in there. That are, it is already configured and it has some recommendations as well, help articles and resources if you want to learn more about that specific journey, best practices. So it has all the information. So when you are starting to learn Journey Builder, get started with these journeys and see what are the steps included and how could an ideal journey can be created. So there are multiple templates that are available. We are going to look at these in detail in the demo part. And here's how the journey dashboard looks like. It's very important to understand what actions and what information that we can see on this dashboard. So on the left pane, we see it's all the journeys created, and also it is organized by the folders. So We can create folders and organize the journeys depending on the relevance. And it also segments the journeys based on the type of journeys, the single send journeys or the transactional journeys, and all the journeys can be listed here. And in the next pane here, you see a list of all the journeys that are available. And next to it, the status. The status tells which stage the journey is in. Is it running or it's stopped, or there are multiple statuses for a journey. So we can get the details of the journey in a single screen here. So it's running. I'm looking at the diabetes journey here. The status is running. And the next one, the performance, here it says the number of entries that are currently in the journey. So that have entered the journey. So this is the number of entries. And you see here is the goal. We define the goal for a journey. This is optional, but once we define the goal, attainment percentage will be visible here. So for some of the journeys, the attainment percentage is 64. And for this one, it's 20. And for some of the other ones, it's changes. So, and also we can get to see the number of entries, the contacts that entered the journey from this performance tab. And also the last modified tells which when was the last time the journey is modified. And in this search bar here, you could input the journey name and search for the journey easily. And we do have this filter criteria where we can filter out the journeys that are displayed in this dashboard depending on the status, or if it is running or in the draft mode. So we can set some filter criteria and see only those journeys in this dashboard. And if you want to create a new journey, we can get started from here. And on the top of this here, these are the different entry sources and history of the journey, different journeys, though the contacts that have entered and the different stages therein, we can get to see all the details in the history tab here. And here is the different templates, the pre-built templates that are available within the Marketing Cloud. Can we customize the columns in the dashboard? We cannot. This is fixed, so we wouldn't be able to change this. And this is the journey canvas. So once we hit the create new journey and we go into the journey canvas, so this is where we create the journey. So the right panel here is the canvas where we drag and drop all these activities from the left pane. As you see here on the left, there are different entry sources, activities, and messages. So we drag and drop these activities here to build the journey. And these entry sources is a way that the journey gets kicked off. So we define the journey to start based on these type of entry elements that we define. So if we say the entry source is data extension, so whenever the data extension is has a new record, depending on the configuration settings that we're going to look in the next few slides. So depending on the configuration, the journey kicks off. So there are different elements. The left side is the entry sources and the different canvas activities. And this is where we can edit the name of the journey, define the journey, and this is the journey toolbar. So it's important to understand what each one of these icons, functionality of each one of these icons here. So we will look at all these in detail in the demo part. Let me switch to the Journey Builder UI. So this is the Journey Builder dashboard. And even before that, when we are in the main Marketing Cloud, first thing that we see is the journey templates. And this is the main homepage whenever we log into the Marketing Cloud. So we get a list of all the recent sent emails, the content builder emails, and the recent run automations and the recently edited journeys. This is the one place where if you want to get to see what's going on in the Marketing Cloud instance, you can check this in the main page. And here, there's an easy way to look at the journey templates that are available. If I want to go specific to the journey builder and look at the dashboard, then I would go to the journey builder here. And under this, we do have the automation studio. And underneath, we do have the journey builder. And here's the journey dashboard. So where we get to see all the journeys that are included in this demo account. And we can search by the journey name and filter type, journey type. If it's a multi-step, it's filtered according to that. And if it is a transactional send, there are no journeys defined. So multi-step, and then I want to see the journeys which are finishing or active and running. And the channel used is email. I can set these filters and see the journeys. And this is for the goal attainment. We haven't defined any journeys with goal in this demo account. This one has the goal attainment goal defined, but none of the contacts reached that goal. So this is used to check the goal status. And anyways, we'll get to see the status here as well. Under the performance, we see the number of entries that are injected into the journey, and also the goal attainment here, last modified, and can create the journey from here. And before that, we'll under the events tab, we can look at the entry sources. So these are the different entry sources used, and this is the event entry source which was used. We look at this shortly, and this is the history of all the journey activities within the last 30 days. This is the demo account, and not much is happening in this, so we don't see any history here. And under the templates, as I said, we do have some pre-built templates which we can get started with. Let's look at some of the simple journeys. As we see here, anniversary send and event follow-up and path optimizer, welcome journey. These are the simple journeys. Let's look at the welcome journey. As you see here, the journey is already configured. We only need to choose the entry source, which is a data extension, which data extension we want to use for this specific journey, and the emails that we want to use. And everything else is configured. So we can get started with this one. And if you're learning Journey Builder for the first time, then you can get to this place and see how it is configured. So it's starting as the data extension entry source, and what the journey is doing, and if it is a sendable data extension or not. So these are the checkpoints that we need to make sure before getting started with this journey. So we need to have a sendable data extension and 3 emails, and the data. In the data extension, we need to have the attribute values for the email content. If we are using any personalized messages and including the first name and the last name, and make sure that the first name and last name attributes are included in this data extension. So this is an easy way if we want to get started with one of the templates that matches with our use case. And to understand the journeys further, we can look at the intermediate and advanced journeys as well. So in the advanced journey, we do have multiple paths and different decision activities. The engagement split is used. So we're going to look at these activities, but this is just to get an understanding of how a journey looks like. So it includes different activities with some wait periods in between, with some different split activities in between. And let's go back and create a new journey from start. So this is the multi-step journey. I'm getting started. So here it's all blank. So it doesn't say whether it wants to start with a data extension and it wants to have an email activity in between and some wait activity in between. So it doesn't say anything. So it's all upon us to decide what is the journey steps are, and what are the different activities that we want to include, different paths that we want to include. So we define the journey strategy before getting started with the journey. And let's look at these entry sources in detail. As you see here on the left pane, we have different entry sources: the API event, audience, cloud pages, data extension, event, Google Analytics 360 inbound chat, Salesforce Audience Studio, and Salesforce data. So depending on how we want the journey to kick off, we will select that specific entry source. Looking at the different entry sources, a data extension. So you all know about what a data extension is. It holds all the records, and a sendable data extension, if we are selecting that data extension as the entry source, it has to be the sendable data extension, and it should contain the records of the customers whom we want to inject into the journey. So the best practice, we need to refine the data extension before we use the data extension as an entry source, or maybe using SQL, filter out the records that we want to include in the journey, and only include the records that we want to include in the journey, and filter out the ones which we don't want to include. And we use the Google Analytics 360 entry source when we have the GA360 account configured and it is connected to the Marketing Cloud. And if we want to introduce those contacts into the Marketing Cloud. So all the contacts which are in the GA360 account, they can be admitted into the journey. And in the journey, they can flow through different steps here. So for this one, I will simply drag and drop this one into here. So I configure this as well. So what is the audience here? And if we want to filter out some of the contacts, then we can do this. And let's look at the example for the data extension. I will first delete this one. And dragging, it's all easy. We just need to drag and drop into the right place. So I have specified the entry source is the data extension and which data extension that we want to use. Okay, I have one data extension created, but that is not sendable. So only the ones that are marked as sendable will be used in the subscriber key. Relates to the subscriber key. I have defined that one. So I'm going to use this data extension here. I'll go back. Okay, I find this here. And we do have some specific attributes in the in this data extension. The coupon code is claimed and the claimed date. And if we want to let the records with is claimed equals to true, then we can filter the contacts here. You see here the filter contacts, and it is used to specify which contact should enter the journey. So from that needs to be configured. So I will show that in the next step. Let's continue with this one. And the audience studio. So when we want to admit the audience from the audience studio and kick off the journey based on those audiences, and we select this, the entry source. And when we have the mobile connect list and we want to inject those records into the journey and then create the different steps for this journey, we use this entry source. And these are all the entry source that inject the records in batches. So let's say we have the data extension, it injects all the records from this data extension in batches. So at a particular time, when we schedule the journey, like we want the journey to run every 1 hour or once in a day. So it will inject these records in batches depending on the schedule. And there are other type of entry sources which are triggered. Triggered means whenever an event happens, those as and when some event happens, they will be injected into the journey. Let's say in an external system, a customer purchases a product. So we want to send the order confirmation email right away. And through the API, we can inject them into the journey and send the email right away. And the cloud pages entry source, where we create a landing page. In Marketing Cloud, we call it as cloud page smart capture form. So whenever somebody goes and fills that form, that data will be created, saved in the Marketing Cloud, and that record will be injected into the marketing journey, and that record flows through the different steps in the journey. Inbound chat. So when we have the SMS configured and we send an SMS and the customer responds with some keyword, some specific keyword. So depending on the keyword, we can kick off the journey. Salesforce data. So Marketing Cloud can be connected with the Salesforce. So when we have that configuration in place, that's the MC Connect configuration, Marketing Cloud Connect configuration, which connects the Salesforce with the Marketing Cloud. So when it is fully configured and the CRM, the Salesforce is connected, we would be able to do some of the functions from journeys, and also some of the functions from Salesforce, from Marketing Cloud functions from Salesforce, like sending an email. And specific to the Journey Builder, if we choose this as the Salesforce data, whenever a new record is created in the Salesforce or it's updated, then we can kick off the journey. Let's say a new record, a new person signs up and that data first comes into the Salesforce. So we can set as whenever a new record is created, then kick off this journey. So we use this specific entry source in that scenario. An event is when we want to kick off the journey based on a specific date. So for that, the data extension should have the date field defined. And the example for this could be on every birthday, we want to send an email out to the customers, giving them some promotion code or some tips, health tips, and so on. So we have looked at the entry sources. And now here, under the activities, we do have messaging activities, advertising activities, and flow control activities, and customer updates and sales and service cloud. So there are a number of activities in here, but as these are segmented here, segregated here, it's easy to understand what each one of these is doing. So the messaging activity is used to send some email messages or some SMS or push notifications or in-app messages or WhatsApp messages if it is configured. So these are all the messaging activities. And advertising activities are used when we have the advertising studio also, and it is connected with the Marketing Cloud. So using these activities, we can create some ad audiences, and also we can create a campaign and kick it off in the Facebook or some other social sites. And these are the flow control activities which define the flow of the journey path. So if depending on a specific action or depending on the specific attributes that the customer have, we want to route them through different paths. So we use all these flow control activities. And now let's look at these in detail. So as we have seen messaging and advertising activities, so email, we use that to send an email. And for that, we would first create the email and then use it in the Journey Builder. So I'll drag and include this here. And in this email part, I will select which email I want to use. So we have an option to create the email from scratch if we don't already have the email here. And if we have the email already created, we can select that. And we also have the option to configure the email, the message configuration, the subject line and all of the details, and the delivery options, advanced options. We will look at it in detail shortly. And so this is when we choose the email, and we have the option to choose SMS and other channels. For that, to use the SMS, we need to have the mobile connect, mobile studio. And for WhatsApp, it needs to be configured. So these are basically the different activities, messaging activities that we can use. And coming to the flow control activities, these can be segregated into wait activities, split activities, join, and path optimizer. Wait activities are used to hold a customer a record for a specific period of time or depending on some attributes. And then when the wait period is done, they can be continued along the path. So there are different types of wait activities. As you see here, wait by duration, wait until date, wait by attribute, and wait until event, wait until chat response. So wait by duration is used when we want to select a duration, like we want to hold the contacts for a specific period like 5 days. So they have signed up for the account and we want to give 1 week time in between and then send the email after that. So we don't want to send consequent emails and then trouble them. So we want to wait, give them some time, wait for a week or a month, and then send the next set of emails or communications. Then we wait until duration, wait by duration. And wait until duration is used to hold the contacts until the day and time that we specify in there. So, and when the day passes by, the wait expires, the contact it proceeds to the next activity. So whatever activity that we have defined in the next. So we have this wait activity already defined here. We can remove it or we can change it here as well. This is wait by duration. Duration I can say in days, months, weeks, hours, and minutes. And after they reach 1 day, so they have waited for 1 day and we want to hold them until 10 a.m. or until some specific period, noon, and then send out the email. We can specify all these details here. Let's look at other wait activities. Wait by attribute, wait until date. I can simply drag and drop here. Wait until date and then configure here. So until what date I want to wait. When we use this wait until date is when we have a concert going on and we want to open the tickets or we want to send out the promotions only 2 weeks before. Then we'll say if the concert is today, then 2 weeks before we'll set the date and we'll configure this and let the contacts come in and wait until this specific date. And we have other wait attributes as well. Wait until API event. This is used to allow an external event to trigger an action in between the journey, mid of the journey. We want to trigger an action depending on an external event. Maybe a purchase or something that happens externally, a purchase or a cancellation or abandoned cart. So we can watch out for these API events and then wait until that period and then progress. And we also have the option to define the maximum period that they want to wait. So we don't want the record to wait for a unlimited period of time. So wait until event, we define the API event. We don't have anything configured. So in here, maximum wait duration. If an event doesn't occur, then how long should I wait? Maybe I will wait for 2 days and then continue with the next steps of the journey. So if an event, wait until event, if the event has occurred, it will flow through the first path. If the event hasn't occurred, it will flow through the second path. And other activities are the split activities. Under the split activities, we do have the engagement split, decision split, frequency split, scoring split, Einstein STO, and there's some random split as well, the random split. So these are different activities that are used to route the records based on some attributes or their engagement or different criteria. So Decision split is used when there is a specific attribute in the entry source. And if that attribute has a specific value, then we route them through one path. And if that doesn't have a specific value, we route them through the different path. Let's say in the decision split, we define it as is claimed, the coupon code is claimed is true, then flow through one path. If not, flow through another path. So let's remove this one and try to look how the decision split look like. I'll drag and drop here. And first I need to define the entry source. Let's go back and select the data extension. This data extension has the email address, coupon code, and is claimed. And the is claimed value is true for some of the records and false for some of the records. So I'm going to use this attribute in the decision split. So underneath, so I would see that data extension. I'll see why I'm not able to see. Under the journey data, I would see that data extension, and I would pull the is claimed, and the filter criteria, I would select it as is true. An engagement split is used to check the engagement of the previous email. Let's say we have already sent an email, and depending on the engagement, if the user has opened or clicked some of the links, depending on that action, we want to route the customers through different paths. Then we define the engagement split activity. And random split, we use it to randomly split the contacts. Maybe 10 records, we split them into 2 different paths and see and send them to different set of communications. And here, these are the Einstein activities. Once we have the Einstein enabled, we can use these activities. The frequency split is, it uses real-time send metrics to automatically segment the contact records. And it is based on how often they prefer to receive the emails from your brand and so on. And scoring split is used, and we build paths based on email or mobile predictions around who is most likely or who is more loyal and who is most likely to engage with the brand. So we use that scoring split activity. And Einstein send time optimization. This is used to determine when is the best time for a customer to receive the email, to open the email. So Einstein, it calculates, depending on the history of data of email sends over the last 90 days, it calculates what time is the customer most likely to read the email. So it will send out the email or the communication based on that prediction. So we will look at all these Einstein features in detail in one of the session, in the last session by Elliot. And the next type of activity is the join activity, when we have 2 different paths or 2 or more paths, and we want to reconnect them all together and continue them on the same path, then we use the join activity. And the path optimizer, it's also very important to know about the path optimizer and also the configuration, how we are going to do that. It's an advanced A/B testing, and it includes more than 2 paths, and we can check the performance of the different paths and select the winning path as well. So let's look at the journey path. So here we do have this, I will remove this one and choose the path optimizer. So we can choose all this configuration here. First, let's look what the path optimizer does. It's a multivariate testing tool that allows to run tests to optimize journeys. So the difference between the A/B testing and the path optimizer is A/B testing is used to test different versions of the email alone, right? And with the path optimizer, we can customize the entire path of the journey. We can have different versions of the path and see which path is doing better. So we can create up to 10 paths with different set of communications. So in one path, I'll say, send an email and then wait for 7 days and then send another email. And in the next path, I'll say, send an email, wait for one week, check the engagement on the email. If they did not open, then send SMS. So I can choose different set of activities in each path. And depending on the winning path, so winning path continues to receive new contacts. So we have this configuration set here. So after a specific period of time, the winner evaluation will be done and it will be automatically set to the winning path. So we have two paths defined and the one with the SMS is doing better than the one with only emails. Then it automatically chooses the second path and makes it the default path for the next coming records. And if we set this as manual, then we need to go back and define, we choose the which one is doing better and which one we want to keep it. So this will be manual. So depending on the email engagement, automatically select a winner based on path engagement metrics. Manual selection is when we want to go back and manually select a winner. Then we'll choose this one or the second one. And how do we split? So we have this activity here. And when the records are coming in from the data extension to the path optimizer activity, so we have 50% of the records go to the first path and the 50% of the records go to the second path. We can also decide how many we want to let. We can have, if we have more paths defined, when we can choose first path 10, second path 20, and the rest of the contacts will go to the third path. So we can set this here. And holdback is used when we want to hold some of the records, not let all the records go at once into the path optimizer and then flow through the different paths and then evaluate the performance and then choose the winner and then let the new records come to the winning path. So instead of that, we can say hold back half of the records, wait for the winner, and then depending on the winner evaluation, let the held back records flow through the winning path. So we can define that under this holdback. The holdback option is available only for run on schedule. So this schedule options as well, we can look here now. Okay. And under this, the extension, I do have 4 records. Okay. So depending on the email engagement or the unsubscribe rate, I can set this back. And once we have selected the entry source, you will see the schedule option. So it determines when the journey should kick off and how often it should kick off. So it's also important to understand what the schedule that is set for the journey. It is run once or recurring or automation. Run once is if we want to kick off the journey once and then be done with that journey, then we use this option. When we select this one, runs on activation. And after that, at specific date and time, or whenever we click activate, as you see here on the right top, we have this activate. So when we are all done with the journey configuration, we activate it here. Once it activated, it runs. Or we want the journey to run at a specific date and time, we choose this option. And if we go with on recurring. So recurring is one, we want the journey to keep running. And we set the schedule, whether we want it to run every day, every hour, or on the weekdays only, or monthly or yearly, and we set the time. And we choose the start time and the start date and these ones here. You can also set the contact evaluation here. And we have this one, automation. So in the last session, Vicky has showed how to create an automation. And once the automation finishes and we want, maybe that automation contains some SQL that creates the data extension that adds the records or updates the record in the data extension. And we want that data extension to be as an entry source to this journey builder. And also as and when the automation finishes, we want this journey to kick off. So in that case, we select this option. So in this instance, there are no automations created, so we don't have this enabled. So if we have any automations created, we have this option, and then we can select the specific automation. So when we select that specific automation, so whenever that automation completes, finishes running, this journey will kick off, and all the records that are mapped to that specific data extension, they will be injected into this journey. So this journey schedule will be dependent on the automation schedule. And under the activities, we have looked at the flow control activities, and we have sales and service cloud activities. So there are multiple activities that are related to the Salesforce objects. So if you are aware with the Salesforce, you see that these are account, case, lead, contact, or task, opportunity. These are all the Salesforce activities. So if we want to include an activity in the journey to update an account or convert a lead or create a task. So whenever a customer opens an email, or we include a decision split saying is coupon code claimed is true, then create a task saying send for the support agent to contact or to do some action. And these are the different type of activities that are available. And the next type of activity is the customer updates. This is also very important activity that we often use to track the progress of the customer through a journey. So when we include that in the journey, so we have the option to update a data extension with some specific value. So update a contact and select the data extension. It can be a data extension which is different than the entry source data extension. So we go into the data extension and we select an attribute value. So email sent, we can say journey builder, new journey, or we give this journey a name, maybe journey builder demo. So we can say email sent for journey builder demo, and we can check it as true. So that can be used to track whether a specific contact has flowed through this journey or not. So this is often used to track the progress of the contact through the journey. And it is also used to audit which records have flown through this journey and which haven't. So when we go back to the data extension that is mapped in here and look at the records in there and look at that specific attribute that we have been modifying, we get to see whether a contact have entered the journey or not. And also we can include one update activity to at the beginning of the journey to track who have entered the journey, and one at the end of the journey to track who have exited the journey. So this is a main great use case when we want to see which contacts are already in the journey, and if we want to suppress those contacts from entering another journey. So this is used for multiple journey or orchestration and prioritization as well. So this is one important activity that we need to know, and we will be using more often. Let's create a sample journey. So I have already configured the data extension. Schedule I haven't set yet. I'll get rid of all these extra activities. Let's start with a very simple journey. So in this one, whenever the contact enters, I will wait for some 1 day or for 7 days. I'll drag and drop into the specific. Oh, it's already there. Okay. I will first, and then I can change this configuration to 2 days. And for the email, I'll select the email, which is already configured. If not, we can also get started with a new one. Select the message. Okay, I'll select something, yeah, the coupon email. And underneath, we have these options, the sender profile, which should be already configured in the Marketing Cloud instance. So I'll choose which sender profile that I want to use, and the delivery profile as well. And if we want to use another subject line, which is different than the one which is already configured. So I have this coupon email, which is created. So here's the subject line is this one, and the pre-header is this one. If I want to change it here, there's an option to change it here as well. And then under the delivery options, we can choose the suppression list. If we want to exclude any of the records from entering this, getting this email, we can exclude them using the suppression list. Or if you want to exclude them by the domain, so we can set the domain list here, and we can write an AMP script or some simple script to exclude the records who meet the criteria, specific criteria. And then under the tracking, we select whether we want to track the link, clicks, or retain the send log, or suppress from the send report. And if you want to associate any campaigns, if you want to include it as a MIME or add a keyword or anything. So we're all set with the email. Done with this. So this is how we configure the email settings from within the journey. And after that, so for the decision split, I'm looking at the journey data, and we do have two different options, contact data and the journey data. We'll look at this also in detail. So this is the data extension that I have used from the journey data. The entry source I'm selecting, and is claimed. I'll drag it into the canvas, is claimed, and edit on this. If it's true, then done. So I name it as is claimed. So if the coupon is claimed, then let them go through the path 1. If not, let them go through the path 2. So all the remaining people will be sent down through the remainder path. Or if you want to add another path as well, we can define the configuration here. So I'm good with the one criteria. So I have defined this one. And then maybe I want to send the SMS, but we don't have the SMS configured. So I'll use the same email again. Wait for 1 day and send the email. And in this one, I will use Einstein STO and delete this one and send the email. So we are done with the journey. This is a simple journey. Let's get started with something simple. So, and I'll schedule this to be a recurring one, just for the example demo sake. That's scheduled to every or hourly. And then if we select hourly, end after occurrences. So we have this option every 1 hour or every few hours. And then after running this journey for 2 times, we want to end the journey. So we can select it here. Or we want it to never end. We can select it here. If we want it to continuously run, we can. One troubleshooting tip is some of the journeys I have seen in some client instances, they have accidentally set this as after some 1,000 occurrences or some on date, and then the journey stops by itself. So it's a good practice. If we want the journey to run forever, like until any changes happen, you can set it as never. And depending on daily, we have these options. So for now, I'm going to select this after 2 occurrences or just never. I have scheduled this journey now. Okay, I haven't saved it. And make sure that the date is at a later time, date and time. Okay.
JB, I'm giving you a time, just give you a time update. We got a few more minutes.
Sure, Naji, thanks for that. So I'm almost done. I have a few things to cover. So the contact evaluation, this is also something important. So this determines how we want to let the records come into the journey. So whenever the journey kicks off, we want to evaluate all the new records that exist in the data extension, or after the journey kicks off, and if any new records comes in, then only they should enter the journey. That's where we determine evaluate all records or only the new records. So for now, we'll say all records, new records, and all records in the file that already exist, or only new records added after the journey activation. I'll say all records in the file. If I say this one, whenever they are updated, they will be injected into this journey. So for this example, I'm going to use all records in this file. Okay, so I'll save this journey. I haven't given it a name. Okay, so before running this journey, I have this option here to validate the journey, whether the journey is running, it has all the elements properly configured. So now I haven't mapped the emails for these 2 activities. So for the first one, I'll go and map some email. I'll randomly map anything. Okay, and I'll use the default configuration. And for this as well, I'll map something just for the demo purpose. So the validation step is to make sure that we have configured everything in this journey and it's all good to go. And this is one important thing that we're going to look at. So I'll hold on the validation for some time now. So let's look at the toolbar. So let's validate the journey after discussing some of the few items in here. So here's the toolbar. We have the option to undo or redo. So we have some specific activity and we want to go back, we can undo. And versions, we have a specific version and we have kicked off the journey. We can't edit the journey. So we have to create a new version and then work on the journey and then activate that specific journey when we are good with that. And these are the different statuses that are available on the journey. So these are the different statuses. So whenever a journey is created, it will be in the draft mode. And when we are done and it's running, it's set as running or it's set as scheduled. And when the emails are sent and communications are going on fine, it's set as sent. And when the journey is stopped, so for some reasons we want to stop a specific campaign and stop running the journey, we can stop the journey as well. The status stays stopped or canceled or deleted. So these are the different statuses that the journey can be in. And depending on the status, some specific actions can be allowed and some specific actions cannot be allowed. So when the journey is in the draft mode, it is editable and it's not active. So it's not currently running, it's not allowing any new entries, and it can't have any audience in the journey. And when it is running, it will be active and it will have entry audiences, and new members can come in, but it won't let any other changes to be done except for the email changes. So email configuration, as I have shown here, we can go and set the delivery options and the sender profile and all these configurations. We can do those changes, but not any other changes. And even for the finishing journeys, that's the same. We can do only the email configuration changes. And if it is finishing, it will not let any new members come in. It can have the existing members continue the journey, but it cannot enter any new members into the journey. And when it is stopped, nothing can be done. And the journey versions, so we create different versions to track. This is like a configuration version control tool, kind of, where we can maintain different versions of the journey. So whenever a journey is running, we cannot edit that configuration of the journey as we have done, as we have seen here. We cannot edit when the journey is running. We can do only email changes. So if you want to add some steps up, like include more email communications or SMS or STO or some split activities in there, we have to create a new version of the journey. And then different options are also available to pause the version, the current version of the journey, or stop the version of the journey, the complete specific version or all versions of the journey. So here is the version dashboard. And when I save this and activate it and the journey is running, then I can get an option to create a new version here. And then when the journey is running, we also see an option here as it listed here. We see an option to pause or stop the specific version or all versions. And the journey schedule is something which we have already discussed. So let's look at a question here. Let's see what we have learned and see. So Alicia wants to update the email content in a running journey. Which steps does she need to follow? So the journey is already active and she wants to update the email content in the journey. So you can input your options here. Yeah, we have different answers coming in. The answer is B. So if it is the email configuration, we can, as we have seen here, email configuration, we can pretty much do it in here under these configuration settings. So message configuration, delivery options, and preview and test, edit message. We have these options to do it from within this activity alone without even going to the content builder.
Would we need to pause it to do that, or would we just leave it running while and just make the setting changes?
We don't need to pause it. And the next important one is the goal and exit criteria. And whenever we start creating a journey, we will start with a goal in mind. So we use the goal and exit criteria to measure the success and to remove contacts from the journey. And using goal, we set this target, like we say, like these many number of people needs to be signed up or needs to have their auto pay created, enabled. And so we can set the number of people or we can set the percentage as well. And we define the goal, and we do have the option to define the exit option. So if the goal criteria is met, if we want to have the records to exit or continue the journey, we have the option here. And exit criteria is used when we simply want to exit contacts based on a specific filter criteria. So when the criteria is met and we want to exit them out, so let's say we want them to sign up or use a coupon code. If they have used it, then exit them. So if we exit the records using this way, they won't be counted towards the goal attainment. This is one difference between the goal and exit criteria. So with the exit criteria, the contacts they won't be counted towards the goal attainment. And in the goal, we have the option to exit the records and also measure the goal attainment as well. Another important thing that you need to be aware of is the difference between the journey data and the contact data. And we have seen that we started this journey with the data extension. So it has a few records coming in, and this data related to these records is also injected into the journey. But what if the status changes? So after 7 days, the status changes as true, but then in the journey, we're still using this old data, because in the journey data, it's all static, it never changes. What if we want to use the dynamic data is when we use the contact data. Contact data, we define it by adding that in the contact model. That will be covered in the detail in the next session, where in the contact data, we map the populations, the attributes, and that data can be pulled into this decision split activity. So I'll discard this one. And under the decision split, if you remember, you might have seen the contact data and the journey data. So if something is mapped under the contact data, we'll see that specific data extension, and that specific data extension, if we pull the specific attribute, that will be the dynamic value. So it's important to understand the difference between the journey data and the contact data. The journey data is static, the contact data is dynamic. And once the data is injected into the journey, this will never change, but the contact data, it's dynamic and it keeps changing. And it is ideal for a transactional data. So once we're done with the order purchase, the data is static, nothing changes related to that order. But if we are tracking the customer status along the way, if they have signed up or the membership status, that keeps changing. So the contact data is ideal to use in that specific use case. And the important thing is the journey settings. This is where the journey validation was held off. So on the toolbar, we have seen the goal and the exit criteria. And here we see the journey settings, which is important. Whenever we are configuring the journey, we need to select one of these entry modes. So no re-entry or re-entry only after exiting. So if a contact flows through the journey and once they enter the journey, they're done with the journey, we don't want to let them enter the journey one more time. Then we select no re-entry. Let's take the example of the welcome journey. So they have signed up for a particular product, for a particular brand, and they have received all the communications, and we don't want to send another set of communications. We don't want to get them into the journey one more time. We select this option. Re-entry anytime is for transactional emails. Like I can purchase multiple times in a day or in a month. So I can re-enter the journey multiple times if the journey contains some order confirmation emails or the shipment emails. And re-entry only after exiting is when we are doing some seasonal promotions or an annual promotion. So we don't want the same contact coming again and again. Only after they're done with the one promotion, we want to get them into the another promotion. Then we'll say re-entry only after exiting. So these are the different entry modes. And the default email address. So whenever the emails are sent within the journey, which email attribute we want to use from the entry source. So entry source, we have defined the data extension, and in the data extension, we do have the email address field. So use that from the entry source or use that from the contacts, which is mapped to the contact model. So we define the default email address to use and the default mobile number. And if we have the GA configured, then we can set this option to track the messages in the journey and update that include that in the GA tracking. So if you have the org to do hands-on, go through all these settings and see what each one is doing, and also important for you to look at all these individual activities and given a scenario, which activity you would use. So now that we have seen the journey settings, let me configure it to re-enter anytime, and then I'll go and validate the journey. So it validates the journey, and if there are any other configurations that is missing, it will list out here. And also after validating the journey, we do have the option to test it. So it's regarding the journey email that is used in here. So I'll ignore it for now, but it's related to the email content that is included in this selected email. So once we have this email validation done, you see this test option here. We can also test it with the records. We can select the entry data extension and the records that we want to test. So we can see the records here, and we select the ones with true and false. So we can see the path that each record takes. So we have the option to browse through different records and then see which path that specific record is taking. So before activating that, it's a good practice to see if the journey is working as expected. And then we'll see this option to activate.
JB is 10:20.
Okay, so I think I'm almost done. This is an example of a journey. So we have seen enough of the journeys. I hope you will easily understand this. So this is the journey with entry source as event. So whenever event like a birth date happens, patient's birthday, send out the happy birthday email and also reminder for checkups. And if they haven't scheduled, then send some communications. If they have scheduled, send the scheduling confirmation and exit. Okay, we have already seen how to create a sample journey and how to validate the journey. And let's look at one question here. Which activity can be used to track the progress of a customer in the current journey and suppress them from entering another journey? That's right. Customer updates activity is used to update a specific attribute in a data extension, which can be used to track the customer's progress and let them go into another journey or suppress them from another journey. Awesome. And here are some additional resources that are linked here. And Naji will be sending out the homework as well with additional resources.
Yes, I will.
Any other questions, Naji?
We did have some questions, but I told everyone that due to time being, we're having a really hard stop at 10:15 and we are currently at 10:21. I'm going to have everyone, if you have questions, please put them in the Slack channel for JB and we will get to them at our earliest conveniences. Thank you so much, JB, for such a detailed review of Journey Builder. Journey Builder is a big tool, so it can be quite intimidating, but everyone just know that for the exam, you just need to know when and at what times would you want to use certain splits. You want to know the difference between contact data and journey data. You're going to just really want to know the different entry sources. You don't need to know every single thing, but definitely it is important to definitely study Journey Builder. It is a big tool. Great job, JB. Wonderful, wonderful job.
Thanks, Naji. I'm just trying to make this work. I'm deleting just show how the journey validation is done. I'm getting rid of the ones that are creating error here. So I'll go and validate.
Yeah, no worries.
This time, just 2 more minutes. So once we validate it, we have the option to activate or test it. Okay. So delete this one, get rid of this one. So we will see these options. And as Naji mentioned, we will answer any other questions on the Slack channel. And thank you for your continued support. And we're happy to continue with this journey with you. And hope to see you again in the next session. Next session is next Tuesday, 9 p.m. as usual. That is related to the subscriber and data management.
All right. Thank you so much. And again, ask your questions on the Slack channels and I will be providing homework after. All right. See you guys next Tuesday and Thursday. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.